recording. So there we go. Right. So we copy from S1 line, starting at the number 1, the first character, and the number of characters we're copying is going to be the position of the semicolon minus 1. Do you remember we did that last week? And this is a concept you're going to stick in your head forever, because you're going to use it all the way to grade 12 and beyond. We want to copy something off, then we use that, and the pos of the semicolon in S1 line, and then minus 1 at the end of that. Now that's quite a mouthful. This is our copy function. It's a function because it's on the right hand side of the equal sign. And it's got 3 parameters, if you might remember. The string we're copying from, the starting position, where we want to start copying, what character number, and then the last parameter is how many characters do we want to copy. You have to memorize those parameters in string handling methods. If you don't go and do your studying and memorize that, you'll always struggle with IT. So over here, it translates to the position of the semicolon minus 1, which will give us the position of the E there, and that is the number of characters that we will copy. So now we've got that. Now we can actually delete. Now take note, we're going to delete from S1 line, so you can be left with the password. I do not need to make a variable for the password. S1 line will hold the password. Do we have to do that delete procedure for every single line of the text file? No. We have to go and get SU, but we'll only delete if we find a match between SU and the S user that the user typed into the edit box. So I'm going to say if SU equals S user. Where does S user come from? From the edit box. But SU must be uppercase. Remember, we're going to we're comparing uppercase with uppercase. Can't have the one in lowercase and the other one in uppercase. I've already did use uppercase up here. But if I didn't, I could always just change this to uppercase. That will be easier for you to understand. And then you'll get what I'm talking about here. We have to compare uppercase with uppercase. There might be some small letters creeping in there. So if that is equal to uppercase, whatever the user typed in, then we'll do a whole lot of stuff. Do we want to go through every single line of the text file? Let's imagine there's 100 lines here. I've got some more things, okay? A lot of things. Just imagine. But our first match is the first one. Do we want to go through every single line of the text file? Do we really? No, we don't. We can't waste the processor's time. If the username is the very first line of the text file, why must the processor go and read through all the others? That would be dumb. So guess what? We're going to have 2 conditions in the while loop. While not, so we put brackets around that, and be found equals false. This is a classic example. We do not want the process to go and look through every single line if we already have a match. Do we now? No. So we're going to set be found to true as soon as we find a match. And that will mean that the loop will stop after this begin and end statement here. The loop will stop after this begin and end if we find a match. Of course, b found is a variable that we have to declare. Are you okay, sweetheart? B found is a variable that we do have to declare somewhere. So I will go to my button click event, BTN Login click. I'll set b found colon boolean in this button click event. So there we have it. If uppercase SU is equal to uppercase S user, then b found is true. We'll delete, and now we're going to check if the password is my soul and S1 line. Okay, what's going to happen with S1 line, people? If we look very carefully, we have to have our wits about us here. The processor resets the text file and says, okay, while we're not at the end of the text file and while b found is false, it means if any one of these conditions are now not correct, in other words, b found becomes true, then the loop will stop. Where will it stop though? It'll stop right here. Basically, the processor will read this and see, oh no, b found's true. So guess what? The processor will do a hop, skip, and a jump to this end, and it'll continue coding whatever we do here. Okay? If it finds a match, we'll set b found to true. We are deleting from S1 line. So guess what? S1 line is the password, isn't it? The password from here, this line. S1 line, after we delete all of that, that will be S1 line, our password. And if we've set b found to true here, processor will go there and say, okay, we can't carry on any longer, and it's going to go over here and over here. So now we can ask the question, if sPass equals S1 line, then we're going to say, yay, you're allowed in, or something, okay? Now, of course, we're not going to use uppercase or anything. Don't forget your structure. If that equals that, then begin and end, else begin and end. So, if sPass equals S1 line, well, we can say show message, yay, or something, whatever you want to say. Otherwise, we're going to have to tell them to show message that they must now go and log in again. So we'll clear our EDT user, try wrong password, try again, and then we can clear our EDT password dot clear at EDT password dot set focus. Of course, the username was correct. Fine, the username is correct. We're not worrying about the username at this point, but how do we know if the username is not correct? Well, we can say this: if sparse equals s1 line and b found equals true. Why? Because b found is set to false, looking for a username, and as soon as we find a username, we set b found to true. So if sparse is equal to s1 line, we know that b found is true. Yes, there we go. If b found is false, though, we're going to do a whole different thing altogether. A whole different thing. So I'm going to go over here and say if b found equals false, still, after the whole loop, we've got a big problem. The username is incorrect. We have to clear everything, and we will exit too. We clear the password and so everything. EDT password dot clear. EDT user dot clear. EDT user dot set focus and exit. We don't really need the b found equals true here then. Hey, we don't need that. Uh-oh. Ach nee, wat? We don't need this and b found equals true. We don't need it. Do. Why? Because we've got the exit over here. If b found is false, we're doing that and exiting. So basically, we don't have to worry about the next statement, because if b found is not false, then it's true, isn't it? Oh, never. Now what happened to my program? Oh, I know, I've got something horribly wrong here. It's so sad. If sparse equals s1 line, then, not do, sorry, I'm shouting, then. Okay, so that's just one way of handling text file handling. We're going to do an easy way now. This is the tricky one. This is not so easy. So, yeah. But it is basically things that we expect you to be able to do in PAT. And by the way, PAT is not just about having pretty pictures on your form. If your code is not right, if your code is not working, if you're not using sound programming principles, if you do not follow these instructions that I'm giving you here, you will not get a very high PAT mark. You might get an extremely low PAT mark. Like I said, I'm not marking on pictures and colors. Now, we have the RichEdit over here, and we haven't used it yet. Right? Here's our RichEdit. What are we going to do? Well, we can display all the usernames in the RichEdit. We can also display the usernames and the passwords. We can do that. So this can be for the manager, can use this button. So I'll go and put a button on here. Ding, ding, ding. And actually with this login, we can actually have some criteria that will allow this RichEdit to be seen if the user happens to have a certain, how can I say, username. You know what I mean? already out, and button 1 can be set to invisible. Well, it's actually not button 1, it's going to be, I'm going to give it a name, BTN process, for want of a better word. We're going to make it invisible, so we'll go and untick the visible property. We don't want it to be seen, only by management. So it's invisible, and now we can actually do the enabled property rather. Let's do enabled. Like for instance, so anybody else, I'd rather actually make it disable. I'm going to disable it rather. So I'm going to keep it visible, but I'll disable it so that people can't click on it, anything. Okay, so now in BTN Login, if the username is admin or something or other, we're going to do the following. If uppercase, I'll just put it over here, S user, because you're supposed to have two different types of users, equal to admin, and so we'll have an AND statement here. This is after we get the username and password. We can go check it straight away. And if you have two things that you're checking, you have to put the two things in brackets. Is pass, I don't know, whatever you want the password to be, you know, 3, 2, 1, whatever. You decide what you want your username and password to be for admin. Then we're going to go and make the RichEdit enable already out in BTN process. Already out dot enabled equals true, and BTN process dot enabled equals true. So if they put in the user and the password, well, we'll go and enable those two things. Hey, we will also exit this method. Why? Because we're not going to do anything more. This is very important to put that exit there. Because if we don't, then we're going to go read from the text file as well. We don't want to do all the reading from the text file to go and check the username and password. But I will have an else here. No, actually I won't. I'll leave it. I will leave it. I'm quite happy to just leave it like that. Because it's going to be quite messy. Over here it'll be the whole story. It'll go through all of the stories and we'll be fine. You see, we'll go and look through the text file, because if the password, let's say the password's not correct, then we're going to go through the text file, check for admin, we won't find one. So bfind will be false. We'll say username incorrect, and then we'll exit there. So it's fine, same story. I suppose we could put a little message here, I suppose. I don't feel like it. Okay, fine. Else. I'll put else here. Admin, administrator, username or password incorrect. Try again, something to that effect, and then I'm going to clear those thingy-majiggies. Oh my soul. I'm going to go and edit to user.clear and edit to user.set focus and all that stuff. There we go, copy and paste. I thought we were doing the other one, which is more fun. Okay, there. So we cleared them. And then we can exit as well. So that's a big long story. For the admin, We're enabling the RichEdit and the BTN process, and we will exit. Else, if they don't get it right for the admin username and password, we will just tell them to go and put both of them in again, and then we'll exit as well. Thank you, turn around. Excuse me. So let's go to the real reading from the text file over here, BTN process. Let's say we want to put all the usernames and passwords in separate columns. So guess what? We're going to do a nice formatting of the columns of the RichEdit. Already out dot clear, and then already out dot paragraph dot tab count. So you get extra marks for this. Equals 2. Already out dot paragraph. I'm going to go fast now because I think the bell might ring soon. Dot tab naught. Actually, there's only one tab. It's only one #9. Only one #9 that we'll use in our string. Tab naught is going to be that one. We write something and then we'll tab it. Let's make it 100. And then we'll say already out dot lines dot add usernames plus, and then #9, and then a plus, passwords, so then we can go and print all the usernames and passwords. We make it nice and neat. So you've got to make sure we have nice output, put like maybe double lines like this or something, and then we can go and put in our, now we're going to loop. We're going to read from the text file and display. Read from the text file, display. Read from the text file, display. In a loop. While we are not in the file, whatever our text file variable is. So guess what? var, my file, text file. I want to finish this because this is the last. S1 line. String, and we're going to be breaking them up into sparse and suser, aren't we? So we've got to read from the text file one line at a time. This is such standard code, people. You're going to be doing this in your sleep. We have to test if the text file exists. If not, file exists. Oh, didn't I do this already? Can't I use copy and paste? Oh, yes, I can. So let's go find it. Copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. We're going to copy and paste. There it is. Yahoo! But that's not the one I want to do. Where's the other one? You see how much code we've written already, hey? Isn't that cool? Okay, here we go. This is the one I want. There we go. Fine. Everything that we did before, we have to go and get the everything we did before, we're going to do again now. Test if the text file exists. So if it does, but by the way, we're not going to use, you use a while loop, while not end of file, my file, but we're not going to use the and b found equals false. Why? We are going through every single row. So S users over here, copy, and we're not figuring out if S user equals whatever. We couldn't care about that because we're not looking for one particular item. No, we're going through every single line of the text file, and that is why I've copied the S user from S1 line. Each time we go through a line, you go copy S user, we delete from S line, and then I'm saying S pass will then be equal to S1 line after I've deleted the user, like I explained to you in the previous example where we did this. I explained how we're copying the username from the string S1 line after reading it from the text file into S1 line. And guys, once you've got this mastered, you basically got programming down. So you've got that. Now, what are we going to do afterwards? Yeah, we're going to do it inside the loop. We've got to display the password and the username. So all we do is this, already out, dot lines, dot add, open brackets, suser, plus #9, plus spass. And we are done. That is the simple reading from a text file and displaying the contents. Take note of our did a .clear of the text file, of the RichEdit. Did our tab stops, that's important, you get marks for that. And that will be the end of basically that I'm going to do with you for the PAT for now. Now you can continue and add extra features, etc. for extra marks. You can decide, okay, I just wanted to show the usernames, or you could maybe use another application, but yeah, we've got text files happening. It's no problem. This is as far as I'm going to go. End of the line.